Put me in office and I promise I will do a good job. Currently, I am the Schuylkill County, an assistant Schuylkill County solicitor dealing daily with county problems. I am well aware of what has to be done and I look forward to serving you in the capacity as your next district attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for joining us on the Sam Lassane Show.
As voters and taxpayers, you should demand responsible, respectful discussion that leads to positive solutions, not screaming, name-calling, and political self-interest. Hi, I'm Jim Perry, Hazleton City Council President. As a lifelong resident like you, I care about our city. I understand your frustration with crime and blight. That's why I will continue to find revenue for more police, supporting giving our residents a better quality of life, and I will hold out-of-state landlords accountable.
Vote Jim Perry for Hazleton City Council, working hard to make Hazleton a better community.
Welcome to an SSP TV special. I'm your host for today, Janine Mazurkevich, and we're here at the beautiful Eagle Rock Resort in the Lodge area, the great room, and we're thankful for Eagle Rock for having us in and sponsoring a very important topic. We're speaking about the Luzerne County foster and adoption programs here, and we're with State Representative Tara Toohill and also Attorney Lori O'Gurkis. So thank you both for having us in to discuss this. I know you're both prominent women in the area discussing a very important topic. Also great friends of mine, so it's going to be a fun show to discuss this topic with everyone and tell them why it's important for foster and adoption care. So, start us off first, Tara, by talking about the Luzerne County Children and Youth Program and what it is all about, what it encompasses, because it's foster care and adoption care.
Well, for a long time, the foster care program statewide, the mission was always to reunite. It was always about family reunification. So you have families that have drug problems, criminal problems, generally drugs and crime, and because of those problems, they lose their children. So the children have to go to a home where someone takes care of them. And the problem is, with the foster care system, is obviously over time when those parents don't pull their act together, those foster parents become very invested in the children. So for a long time in Luzerne County, there was never a mission of adoption with that foster parent. So people get very disenchanted with that system. There's a lot of heartbreak, and children that are 12 years old, 6 years old, 12 years old, they're getting sent back after being raised by these foster parents. So the state of Pennsylvania now, we have a new secretary of the Department of Public Welfare, and she has recognized, because she comes from a children and youth background, she has recognized that this mission needs to change from family reunification just to building a family and building a forever home. So if it's going to be the parents, if the parents can get their act together, or if it's going to be a family out there that's going to be able to adopt. So that's really our goal today with the three of us, is to spread that message to families out there that there are perfectly beautiful, wonderful children out there that do need forever homes, and to spread that message. And Lori is a pioneer in that field.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you as the pioneer. You're not only an attorney for Eagle Rock Resort, but you're also very good friends of me and Tara. So we're going to talk about your story specifically, because you actually ended up doing the foster to adopt program, right? As Tara was saying, as the pioneer for that.
Yes, I was struggling, my husband and I, for 6 years with fertility issues, and I had a great support system around me who kept tweeting in my ear about adoption, and eventually I turned my focus from fertility into adoption. And I was very lucky to be put in the hands of children and youth. I checked with other agencies. A lot of the other agencies considered, because we already had older children, that we wouldn't be able to be placed with a newborn or a young child, that was not going to be considered a factor. But because with children and youth, it really didn't matter. So I went to children and youth and was shocked to see how many children are actually in Luzerne County's foster care system, and how many will never have a permanent, loving home. And fortunately, it worked out tremendously for my husband and I and our family that we received a 2-week-old boy. We got a call. He was born in Wilkes-Barre General, and we brought him home straight from the hospital. Healthy, perfect, smart, everything a mother or father could want for their child. And we gave him an instant support system. And when I went in and saw my son for the first time, and then I heard from Danville, the head of Danville Pediatrics, how many children like Michael are being born locally, it broke my heart, because I knew that there are many families like me, women like me, partners, single people like me who may want to add to their family, and they do not know that there are these children available and ready to come home. You know, and so within a year process, I was able to adopt my son, and I've been blessed ever since.
It's an emotional roller coaster, and speaking as a mom and as a woman, when you can't conceive, it can really do a lot of things to you emotionally, physically, to your marital status, causes tension in the home. So this is something where people can turn to Luzerne County to get involved, as you both said, with the foster program and now through the adoption program. Again, it's relatively new here for Luzerne County to get into that adoption part of it. But what were some of the things, Laura, that you were going through when you said you were going through, you know, your husband and you were trying to conceive, and it was over a matter of time, but did you have like depression issues? Did you have anxiety? Did it affect your environment at home or your work?
At the time, I didn't realize it. You know, looking back now, I became very focused on conceiving the child and conceiving our child, and was very disappointed in the fact that I couldn't understand how come we couldn't do this. And for me, it was very traumatic. You know, I think I'd have to ask people who were really close around me that were more witnessing it from the outside in, you know, because once you're going through it, you're just going through the motions. But for those around me, I think that they would, you know, would be best, like Tara and you probably know best how it was for me. I think it was, you know, it was devastating. And it got, you know, thankfully I have a wonderful faith system, and a good support system of friends who just hung in there with me, and, you know, were able to redirect me in, and I think that that's where, you know, where I was coming from. I think that's why I want to spread the message, is that there's this perception that children who come from the foster care system are broken and damaged goods. And I had that perception myself. I mean, growing up, had the idea of, you know, it would be Susie, you know, who's 17, blue eyes, you know, prominent family, she gets pregnant, they place the child for adoption. And, you know, not realizing, oh my gosh, there's so much child abuse, neglect, abandonment issues that are here. And finally, I had to really, you know, once I got my son, see how overwhelming that is. And now as a mother, now that I got my son, I said, I can't just walk out with Michael and say, okay, I'm going back to my life, and forgetting that. You know, when you walk into a hospital room, you see a newborn baby laying there without aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, with not a balloon, with not a toy, with nothing. It is so stark. And it's so, you know.
It's so sad that he was just laying there waiting for someone to pick him up. And that's a newborn baby. So there's all these, I think that is the thing, there's so many women that are out there, and partners, men and women, you know, in a marriage, that they're so fixated on it's going to be this certain way. But not everybody can go that path. And that there are children out there in need. And so many people that were in the foster parents, they have such a bad taste in their mouth, because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Luzerne County Children and Youth was not running as efficiently. So you would sign up as a foster parent hoping that you'd get to obviously have a child, and that you'd get to be a forever home, and then they lose that child. And that gives you such a bad taste in your mouth. So hopefully we're thinking, by spreading this message, that people that are out there, you know, that have room for another child, that have the ability to raise another child, and that want another child, can at least try to get listed on the foster to adopt list, so that they can start at least helping these children, because there's no one to care for these children. The state of Pennsylvania, we try to list if there's no one that can take them. Now we've passed a new law that we immediately start looking for next of kin. Mm-hmm. And so they're getting put with grandparents or uncles or aunts that maybe, weren't planning for a child, didn't want a child as badly. Mm-hmm. And that's not going to be as successful of a placement as it would be with someone that is really out there desperate for a child.
All right, we're talking to State Representative Tara Toohill, also our friend Tara. So we're going to talk about her personal story coming up, and we're with Attorney Lori Ogurkis, also Lori Angela, that's what I normally call you. So you're watching a special SSP TV edition here. I'm your host, Janine Mazurkevich. We're at the beautiful Eagle Rock Resort in the Lodge area, overlooking the beautiful valley here at Eagle Rock. We'll be back right after this.
People make lots of excuses for not wearing their seatbelt.
I'm not driving far. I don't need to buckle up.
3 out of 4 crashes occur within 25 miles of home. There are no excuses. Just buckle up, Pennsylvania. A click can save your life.
When it comes to all of your grocery needs, shop Boyer's Food Markets at 2 locations, 15th Street in Hazleton and South Hancock Street in McAdoo. Here are this week's specials. Every weekend, look in our hot food area for wings, tenders, and other party favorites. Don't forget about our gift cards and our senior citizens discounts. We also have double coupons every day. You can also go to BoyersFood.com for our weekly circular, monthly super specials, and much more. It's all at Boyer's Food Markets in Hazleton and McAdoo.
If you want to go out, then you want to go to Bottlenecks, the place everyone is talking about. You want to go where the food is as good as the atmosphere, where you can find mouth-watering steaks, amazing appetizers, seafood, burgers, wraps, and of course, you want to go for the award-winning wings. Bottlenecks is the perfect place to meet with friends for lunch, dinner, or drinks after work. So if you want to go where everyone is having a good time, you want to go to Bottlenecks.
As voters and taxpayers, you should demand responsible, respectful discussion that leads to positive solutions, not screaming, name-calling, and political self-interest. Hi, I'm Jim Perry, Hazleton City Council President. As a lifelong resident like you, I care about our city. I understand your frustration with crime and blight. That's why I will continue to find revenue for more police, supporting giving our residents a better quality of life, and I will hold out-of-state landlords accountable.
Vote Jim Perry for Hazleton City Council, working hard to make Hazleton a better community.
And you're watching an SSP TV special here at the beautiful Eagle Rock Resort, and we're with Attorney Lori Ogurkis and State Representative Tara Toohill. We're talking about Luzerne County children and youth, the foster programs, now the adoption programs, and we wanted to hit on some startling facts and some myths that people should really know about. If you're out there, mom or dad, or you're out there and you're single and you want to adopt or foster, you can do that.
Yes, you can. Right? Yes, you can. It's not about age. It's not about marital status. It's not even really about income. It's about having the love in your heart to give to another child, to a child. And as long as you have that criteria, you can become a foster or adoptive parent through the Luzerne County foster care system.
Through some of the information that you gave us, 81.5 million Americans alone have considered adopting a child. And you said foster care adoption may cost less than private infant or international adoption, but it's still expensive. That's a myth.
That's a myth. I hear that all the time. It's funny because people come up to me and I think they presume, since I'm a lawyer, that I've gone overseas, that I've had this private adoption. And I always smile because they'll ask me, well, where is he from and how much did it spend? How much did you spend in order to get him? And I smile because it warms my heart to know that he's just like up the road about 20 minutes is where he came from, and I didn't really spend anything at all. There was no financial, in debt that we had to go into in order to gain our sons. So, yeah, that is a myth, and I want to make sure that people know about that there are children locally. I hear grandparents tell me, they have children who've gone overseas, they've gone to China, they've gone to Russia. There are children locally here that are being born every week. This past year, besides getting a call for my son, I've had a call for a set of twin girls. I've also had a call for a 5-month-old boy with a broken wrist. And I've also had a call 2 weeks ago for a girl who was placed in a safe haven which State Representative Toohill is going to go over, but a safe haven child. So, and that's just the children that I've gotten calls for. So you just imagine if you put yourself on the list. I mean, within 2 months I got a call from Michael. If you want a child, if you want to add to your family, why wait and waste the time of going through the fertility and stress? And I know what it's like because I've been there. Why not open your heart to adoption? It's the best thing that I've ever done for myself, for my family, for my son. You know, it was a perfect unification of two hearts. It really was.
And Tara, you can hit not only on the law and the legal end of this process of safe haven, but you're also personally affected by foster care and adoption.
Yes, and I'm close with Lori on a personal level, but when she was going through this process, in my family, we had gone through this. I had personally gone through this process, as well as my parents had fostered over 42 foster children with Luzerne County Children and Youth when I was growing up. So this has been a big part of my upbringing and the culture in my household. And when I decided to go and run for political office, a lot of that was because of the background that I had, where I would always look at these children that are in need, they don't have a home, and that it's cyclical. So these kids, they grow up in foster care, they're in and out of the system, in and out of different foster homes, and the fact that then what happens to them is they, you know, when they're 18, 19, 20, they don't have anybody. They don't have anyone. They don't have health care, anybody taking care of them. They wind up pregnant and they have 4 or 5 kids. And those kids end up back in foster care. So the whole problem, the cyclical nature of the foster care system is really a travesty in America and in Pennsylvania. So that's part of why I even went into politics in the first place. So I'm very glad we're having this show, and I'm so glad that Lori has a success story that she could share with the people out there watching to kind of take away all of these misperceptions.
Great. The other myth was that you have to be married, or that mostly women want to do the foster and adoption care. It's open to men, it's open to...
It's open to gay and lesbian partners. They can adopt as well. I have 2 women partners who just recently signed up as well, who want to add to their family. And, you know, my hat's off to anybody who will take care of a child. You know, they need love and they need a home, and I'm here to help counsel anybody through this. If anybody knows from every angle of what this is like, I've received calls from family members who have daughters who aren't going to keep their children, who want to give up their children. I've spoken to women who've had abortions because of this. I've spoken to women who've placed children up for adoption through this. I've talked to so many different families and women about this problem, you know, from all different angles, and I really feel that it's my calling, and it's my responsibility, and I'm going to spend every minute of the rest of my life making sure that I just tackle this issue head on. If somebody has to do it, and you know, I'm all game for it. If anybody can do it, I said, with you know, the help of my friends and the support system I have, we can do a lot of good for these families.
I'm happy to say that I'm pro-life, and I'm happy to say that, you know, if someone is, we have to educate our young about pregnancy, and if pregnancy is something that happens, that we educate them and support them and really take them under our wing and encourage them to have the child. Yes. And like you're saying, there are so many loving people out there, moms, dads, that want these children into their lives, but to destroy a life over, you know, I'm embarrassed to be pregnant. I think we're in an age where we're over that. Yeah. Okay, so we need to, again, educate and properly tell them that there are places for these children to go on to be loved and to grow up in a healthy environment.
And we are evolving as a society, yeah, sure. And I think we kind of, you know, when we were thinking of, when our parents' age, they used to get sent away to have a baby and nobody ever knew about it. Now it's a little bit different, but also abortion is so accessible, so that you are losing a lot of lives over that. But the children, there were 60 pregnancies this year at Hazleton Area High School. So you have a lot of very young women that are changing their life forever. And we need to communicate to those young women that at such a young point in their life, that adoption maybe is the answer for them, and try to kind of get people onto that track. But at the same time that we're making children available, we do need the people out there to step up with homes. So I think that it's so wonderful that we're having this discussion, because the people at home are the ones that really need to have this discussion about whether they're open to foster care, whether they're open to adoption, and if they have room in their homes and in their hearts.
I'm sure there are a lot of you sitting at home with 1,000,001 questions on, how you can get in touch with Lori, and we're going to get to that. But I do want to hit on the safe haven law and some of the discussion, Tara, that you're so fortunate to be a part of this passionately in your heart, but also to be part of the law and the changing law at our capital.
Yes. In Harrisburg, we have changed the safe haven law now, so we've expanded it. A lot of times people have children, and right after the pregnancy, and Hazleton Hospital, they report, they have young people having babies. They don't even have a car seat. Like, there's no preparation at all for this young life. They have to give people car seats just so they can take these children home. So there's no preparation. And early on, people, in that first year of life, usually in the first 2 months, they really figure out that they cannot take care of this child, that they've taken this on. So in the state of Pennsylvania, there's a safe haven law where children can be dropped off at a hospital, newborns can be dropped off at a hospital or dropped off at a police station now, and that you won't be asked any questions, and that abandoned baby then goes to Children and Youth, which is one of the phone calls that Lori received. But I mean, if you're looking for a newborn baby and you're unable to have your own newborn, there are newborns that are available and that are being left at these safe haven spots out throughout Pennsylvania.
All right, well, I'm excited. I wish Michael was here with us now, because, we've been friends since we're little, but now every time I see Lori, I don't say hi to her first. I say, "Where's Michael? Where's Michael?" Even your poor husband. I love you and the kids, but, I love that little baby. He's just such a little bundle of joy. So we're going to see some photos of Michael when we come back and talk about what you can do to help if you're want to foster, if you want to adopt, or hey, maybe you just want to donate to the cause. We're going to talk about that. Again, we're at the beautiful establishment here at Eagle Rock Resorts. We're at the Lodge at Eagle Rock, and we're located in the Great Room, and we'll be back right after this.
If you want to go out, then you want to go to Bottlenecks, the place everyone is talking about. You want to go where the food is as good as the atmosphere, where you can find mouth-watering steaks, amazing appetizers, seafood, burgers, wraps, and of course, you want to go for the award-winning wings. Bottlenecks is the perfect place to meet with friends for lunch, dinner, or drinks after work. So if you want to go,